A woman runs through a dark forest, seemingly carrying a small child. She runs for her life as screams can be heard from the distance, and she knows there is no turning back, and that this is a one-way trip. All she can think about is taking care of her baby, and all she can think about is the future of her own child. So, she would decide that she would take a risk, drop the child in a nearby river of some sorts, and hope for the best. Hope that they don't find him. Soon, the baby would be floating down a small little creek, and the screams of that said mother could be heard in the distance. But the baby knew nothing. The baby was practically a newborn, a child that was so innocent and pure, but looked so gorgeous to the look. One of the most beautiful babies you would ever see in your life. A mother would love to take care of that child, and a mother would love to see him grow up. But unfortunately, the mother of who we know as Inosuke would not see her child grow up. Actually, boars would raise the young child, and normally this would be how his life would go on. He would be raised in a pack or kind of a group of boars and learn the way of beast breathing, learn the way of defending himself, just how the boars once did around each other. But this time around, the young child would be around the age of 5, maybe 6 years old, learning the way of the boar, but eventually could hear the squeals of each boar, one after another, one after another. He would call out, and nothing. No sound, no squeal. He couldn't even hear the pitter-patter of hooves going in and out of the dirt. It was silent. Silent until he could hear walking. The walking approached. He would think that maybe this was a boar, but it wasn't. It was something. Someone. It was a demon. And this was the moment that Inosuke's life would change forever. And it would all be because of the one and only Doma. Doma would take the child, thinking to himself that it took a bit of time, but he finally found him. The child that the woman was trying to hide from him. This glorious child. Just like how he was when growing up, he decided to take in Inosuke and treat him as if he could speak to the gods. Inosuke would be raised as if he was some sort of gifted, some prophet, some amazing child. And that's exactly how the cult would follow. Now this was something that Muzan himself was even interested in. He was interested in the fact that Doma decided to take on a child, seemingly with the idea of creating a beautiful and perfect demon. A demon that could be right beside him. A demon that could take on whatever he wants him to take on, even if it's the cult itself. Make the cult better. Make everything that he enjoys, everything that he deserves, so much better. Muzan is interested in this, but he does find Doma to be a bit foul. At the end of the day, Doma has his own way of kind of doing things. And yes, Muzan may be cruel, but it seems as if Doma is just another level. And this is where things drastically change for Inosuke. Not only would he spend years with Doma, but eventually he would be turned into a demon. As he would change into that said demon, his body would contort slightly, but then stop. It was as if his body wanted to change into sort of a boar-like creature, but then stopped before it actually could. And now it seems like Doma has the perfect child, or kind of just demon, that would do exactly what he wants. Inosuke only knew a couple things, and him being out on his own and kind of being not the most intelligent being in the world makes him very impressionable. And maybe his mother knew this from the roundabout, knew that if she died, well, Inosuke wouldn't have anybody to teach him right from wrong, wouldn't be able to teach him what he should be doing. But now he's doing everything that is wrong. Don't get it twisted. Inosuke is not exactly powerful, but his connection to wilderness, his connection to nature makes him a foe to be reckoned with, and also someone to be idolized as if he was a god. Now, everybody believed that Doma could speak to the gods, that Doma knew and could hear them every time they spoke, and that he was a prophet. He was the mouthpiece for the gods alike. But Inosuke seemed different. He seemed to be actually the god of nature, or at least that's what the cultists believed at the moment. He would be able to manipulate boars and other animals all around, and it seems as if he actually can utilize them throughout their entire village. They would have kind of little boars or even other creatures posted up at different entrances to protect the cultists, and it seems as if he had full control of every last one of them. It seems like the years he spent with boars actually and inherently arose something out of him when he became a demon. It actually turned his kind of demon blood art into something that is connected with the wilderness. And Doma would even be impressed by this. He would look at the child that he now raised, and is proud of him. It's something that Doma has no clue of, kind of the feeling of being proud, but he would assume this is the feeling that he would have had if he had children, if he watched his children do exactly what he aspired them to do. This is what's happening. Doma is watching his own kid, his own child by the name of Inosuke, well, be a demon on another level. Now, you may be wondering, what's happening with Zenitsu and Tanjiro? And there's some big differences here. Now, Tanjiro is very strong and probably could handle his own to a large extent. Frankly, him and Nezuko probably would be able to be just fine. Him and Zenitsu would kind of find their way around in terms of Rui and so on. But Inosuke is very crucial to the story. Inosuke is a big reason why Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and everyone else actually survives the mass majority of the time. And we're talking about now, Inosuke sends another layer of strength and power to Doma, because now they're thinking that they have to take down Doma. They're gonna poison him and kill him. Let's just say everything goes very similar. Let's say Rengoku passes on in the battle with Akaza. Let's say Tengen, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, they're enough to somehow take down Daki and Gyutaro, and everything else goes relatively the same. Well, the Infinity Castle, that battle will come with a rude awakening. Kanao could not take down Doma by herself. She needed the help of Inosuke. Needed it badly. So at the end of the day, that battle will not go exactly how you believe it to go. And Inosuke being such an unknown factor in this story makes an absolute massive difference. Because when Shinobu and Kanao face down Doma, they're not only facing down Doma, they're facing down the demon named Inosuke, a demon of the wilderness, a beast demon. This is a different type of foe, and yes, he's far from the strength of Doma, but let's just say the wilderness, the creatures, I would have make the assumption that they could smell, they can taste, they can sense the poison that is within the blood of Shinobu and the plan that is going underway. And if Inosuke tells Doma that this is occurring, tells Doma that the blood that he seeks to absorb and the woman he wants to ingest is poisoned, Doma will not do such a thing. Doma will live. And if Doma lives, the rest of the demon slayers better hope and pray that the gods that supposedly Doma can speak to save them. Because Doma will absolutely shred through the other demon slayers. We've seen how strong Doma is. It is said that he's far stronger, or a good bit stronger than Akaza, and that he could have killed Akaza if he so chose to. But guess what? Doma is not restricted anymore. Doma knows of the poison and will not be poisoned. He will not ingest Shinobu. He'll kill her, and that's it. And then that would lead to the death of Kanao. Unfortunately, Inosuke does play a big part in this. It does play a big part if he's absent of the demon slayers and if he's absent in general. And if you put him on the side of the demons, like I did now, I could see him being drastically important. Now, I know I built up a whole story, but let me sum it up for you. There's two ways this truly could go. Both, at the end of the day, not good for the demon slayers. One is that Inosuke is found by Doma, raised up and praised as a child, and maybe he doesn't even become a demon. Maybe Doma utilizes him just to attract more female followers so he can eat, absorb, and gain more and more strength, and whatever is going on in his manipulated and sadistic mind, he can kind of fulfill. Now, with the second one, which is definitely the one I would personally think, or I personally would choose, is the beast demon Inosuke. An Inosuke that lived among boars, among creatures of the wilderness, leading him to eventually being discovered by Doma. He brings him in and raises him to a certain age, and then makes a demon out of him. He makes a demon out of Inosuke, someone with a connection to the wilderness, making him a demon that is drastically connected to the wilderness itself. Now he could create creatures like boars, manifestations that are demons like him, and maybe even go and look for boars themselves and create demons out of them to build his own following of demon wilderness, or the demon wilderness. Now we can talk about boars, but we can also think of many other wildlife creatures, maybe something like bears, maybe something simple, like very small creatures like cats. You never know how important every last little animal could possibly be. Inosuke, no matter what in this universe, if he's raised by Doma, he's doing something drastically bad, or just drastically disgusting. Now, is it his fault? No, I truly believe that Inosuke is easily manipulated, at least to a certain extent. Inosuke later on, of course, doesn't want to kill Tanjiro when he becomes a demon at the very end of Demon Slayer. He has gone through a ton of emotions, a ton of kind of ideals, and he's built up this massive friendship with Tanjiro. But what if you just grabbed him right when he was at the peak of wilderness? This wild Inosuke that knew really nothing, only what the boars ate, hunted, slept, whatever you can think of, that's all he knew. Doma is a master manipulator, and being able to utilize Inosuke, if that means attracting more female residents to his cult, or making him a demon, that could be basically a very powerful demon that would be more or less like a support for Doma. I mean, we're talking about two different ways that would drastically affect the life of this demon, this very, very high-ranking demon. Now, like I said, the Demon Slayers at the end of the day would be absolutely effed. And that's just the reality of it. When you take away someone like Inosuke, that is very important to the story, well, you get something like this, where there is no chance at all for the Demon Slayers to truly prevail. But even though the first kind of version of this, with Inosuke not becoming a demon, attracting cult followers, so on and so forth, so they don't actually have the extra help in terms of demonhood, probably still makes for a story that is easier for the demons. I mean, Doma himself would probably absorb more females than he ever had before, and on top of that, Kanao wouldn't have the help from Inosuke to actually, defeat Doma. With all that said, I would love to hear what y'all think would happen if Doma raised Inosuke. What kind of demon do you think Inosuke would truly be? Or do you think he would not even become a demon at all? I mean, I would love to hear what y'all have to say. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. And I hope y'all leave a like, leave a sub, comment down below, like I said. And I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.